coming up on Unwritten?
I couldn't be who I lived up to be because I didn't want to kill myself. I didn't want to be drowning in my mind. And the only way was to take my life, period. There wasn't anything to stop it. And no one could actually identify what it was.
So what do you think it was that was making you feel deeply depressed and not wanting to be here anymore?
This is stuff I haven't really spoke of, and I haven't spoke of.
You don't have to.
I certainly believe that it's dangerous.
Who is Samantha Hughes really, and why do you feel so compelled to share your story?
Well, thank you for asking. I'm right in, huh? That's too funny. Yes, so I'm Samantha. I'm a writer, a poet, mental health advocate, and a cycle breaker. I'm fiercely on a mission to bridge the gaps between those struggling with mental illness, addiction, and those struggling to understand those who are struggling. There's just so much broken telephone going on that I found in my experience with mental health since very young. The language that we use significantly defines whether someone may sit or jump. And that just makes me tremble, even saying that again, because I know how serious it is. So that's just a tidbit of my purpose, just to not have, or to try and help people to not have to struggle for as long as I did. And I think a lot of it came from, our society today and how, there's still a lot of mindset that are, mental health is hokey pokey, and there's still a, just pull your socks up and just toughen up mentality. And it's dangerous. Yeah, so that's in a very small nutshell.
What was the beginning? What was the introduction of Samantha Hughes, and how did you finally begin to heal?
That is a loaded question. So my healing, kind of this is going to be kind of chopped up because there's so many layers. But my father was arrested at some point, and he went to jail, and that time visiting him and having those emotions and suppressed memories come back from the scent of a deodorant while waiting to see my father. And that validated all of the missing pieces, but there were still so many more. That sparked in me, that led to binge eating, rather an addiction. I was eating my feelings. Oh my gosh, I was on my way to work, going to drive through and buying all of the food, just smashing it. And then just before getting to work, I'd stop at the corner store, buy meat slugs, buy chocolate milk. It was just horrible. And then get to work, same thing at lunch, same way home. And then I started gaining weight. I started seeking therapy again. And the therapist said, after 3 sessions, I can't see you anymore. You need to see a sexual abuse therapist. I was like, and this has been like a cycle for all of my life, you know, because you could only get 6 free sessions, or, you know, this therapist moved away. Oh, great. I just built that trust. And I know that's not any fault of anyone, but these are things that just depleted me time and time again, being, you know, having started at like the age of 8 years old. Sorry. So I went in, and after that, I couldn't go any deeper. And then that turned into alcohol. The binge eating changed from eating to alcohol, closet drinking. That, da, 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 da. And therapy in a different way. It was finding me, and not just like sitting there and waiting for them to ask me prompts. It was like, who am I? What even do I like? I've just been compliant. If I didn't like it, I'd say something. Otherwise, I'd go with all of it. And I lost myself growing up, people pleasing. And anywho, fast forward so much. I attempted suicide this summer, July 2021, and separated from my partner of 8 years. We had moved into our second home together. After a couple of months, this came to light for me after the new type of therapy, new way of going to therapy. And then consequently, my dad lived 6 houses down after he had returned from jail. So we had still had a relationship. I was still in like I felt bad for him because he too, I won't say, you know, so, and it's a whole generational thing for me, for my family. It was deep rooted. It's so much not talked about too in the world. Like they're documentaries. I made a decision in the middle of the night after, you know, family had, you know, found out that I had some real like, hey, whoa, hey guys, are we going to talk about this? And nobody wanted to talk about it. And then a lot of things more came to light. Blah, blah, blah. I left in the middle of the night to save my life from what would have been a successful suicide in January 22. That's when the real healing began. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing, if I was going to be alive, if I wasn't. And it was really coming true to me and getting to the things that I had masked my whole life. I'd been pretending I was great after growing up, having to keep up with the Joneses, even though we weren't financially well at all. And I grew up doing that too. Just, I was hilarious. And I just became a master of disguise to appease the surrounding. But I'm safe now. And now I want to teach people that before they have to go through this monotonous roundabout without an out. You know?
So in January of 2022, you tried to end your life?
No, I knew that if I didn't leave, I didn't know if I was going to take my life. I didn't know anything. I just knew that I had to leave my home. I had to leave. And in my head, it was to save myself.
Yeah, because you were in that environment. That was.
I was in the place that got me sick, and it was like I was, you know, trying to build a house on sand. You know?
Where did you go?
So I went from Belleville, Ontario, to Alberta. Like we needed coordinates. Like I went by myself. It was a 37-hour drive, middle of winter, where my childhood best friend lived with her family. And no notice. I just drove. I didn't know I was even going there. I didn't think I was going to make it past the train tracks at one point during that stretch. And it's crazy because I was actually at the point too along the drive just this summer, and it was such an awakening. And but yeah, so I landed in Alberta, and I wasn't there long either, and I was on the road again to what felt good in my soul, what I was doing respond. Couldn't find it. I didn't know. I didn't know anything. Just that I was following my gut for once, and it was leading me to better understanding and healing.
Yeah, it seems like anything at that point would have been better than staying where you were, right?
Yeah, and I mean, my surrounding wasn't bad at all. It was that I couldn't be who I lived up to be. I was the mom um, that that made all of their costumes. If it was a spirit day, I made a mantle, a fireplace, and it was 3D. They opened their arms and they had stockings. Both of my sons had that. And I did that in the middle of the night. That was what I did. I was that helicopter mom, so to speak. And I faded. I couldn't be that anymore. I realized that I was only 10% really, like they were all seeing still the 100, and I had 10% left to fake. And it was, they watched me die potentially. And this sounds so bad, but it's the truth that I've had to sit with. They would have to bury me. And, I get scrutinized by my town, my hometown, because I left. And it's like, but my children would have had to bury me. And I'm here to speak and to be that voice so that they can grow up and not have to deal with the stigmatism that I had to go through. So that their father, so that our extended family can understand their mental health better, so that we can stop that before it escalates to a 35-year-old on a train tracks. It's it's so much deeper than people want to go, but once you do, it's so enlightening.
Yeah, it's like something like that recently happened with my family, where we had these take it to the grave stories.
Okay.
And I decided to not take it to the grave.
Okay.
We're all in our 30s. Like, I'm the youngest of four. I'm 30. And then my oldest brother is 38. And when I finally opened up about it, it was actually on one of my podcasts with one of my other siblings that also battles with mental health
This is
stuff.
okay.
But yeah, I opened up about it, and then a couple weeks later, like, all my siblings heard the podcast about me opening up about it, and then it was just like the floodgates opened, like,
And it was
everybody was just like, yeah, it was like a good feeling. It wasn't a bad feeling. It was like, it's like this weight lifted off your shoulders, because it's like, why are you gonna take that to the grave? Like, it's like, that's a weight that you're carrying for your whole life if you take it to the grave. And if you express it, shamelessly express it, it feels better.
It does. And with that too, in the books that I've written about my life, none of it is an attack at anyone. None of it is this person did this person. And that's the whole, for me, it's just the getting the message out without having to bring down the class. in that. I don't know if you did. Um, like, and also with me sharing my story and what I learned through beautiful humans and given mentors. They also practice in a holistic approach to mental health through psychedelics and stuff, which I very much advocate properly and not leave your
It's
kitchen,
so
going to
it's so
Mars.
hard. Well, it's
Yeah.
so hard now. Like that's what initially connected us because, by the way, I still do want to get my doctorate's degree in counseling psychology, but
Oh yes, I remember now.
but I want to open up a holistic wellness center clinic that practices everything you could think of uh, without the use of like prescribing drugs. I don't want to prescribe anything to anybody. I want to prescribe healing, real healing. Um, but yeah, so what about that? So you your journey of trauma and whatever baggage you had your entire life up until your mid 30s, and then you finally tried a plant medicine called ibogaine, you said?
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a cocktail. It was a 2 week journey of
No, I was asking you about how you tried everything to heal, and it wasn't until you found the ibogaine cocktail
Mhm.
that helped you heal.
Yeah. I mean, I I'm not knocking Western, styles of therapy and conventional therapies and things like that. I think it does work a lot, but I think at some point it's like, all right, this is not working. These, cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, things like those don't really do it. And just conventional therapies, once a week, or what if I need to talk now? And I know there are things that appease that, which are great. I'm so thankful for that. And honestly, I think we could throw in AI, throw a grandma, grandpa in a retirement home, your Snapchat, and let them chat it up with AI. You would be entertained for days, and it would be just as engaging as they were talking to you or I, at any kind of just conversational aspect. And I think, like, why not do that? Things like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know where I went there, but plant medicine. I came across a video through the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, and um, within the same day, as well as the Sean Ryan show, and both had on people speaking about. I can't remember their names right now. Apologies. They spoke about their experience with psychedelics, and the one specifically on the Sean Ryan show was speaking about ibogaine and how they had went through severe trauma. And though they were speaking about military trauma, still trauma, that's significant and in excess and ongoing. So like CPTSD complex, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is, I believed it. And I think people who've been through a lot, they can tell if this person's just book smart or they've experienced.
Yeah.
And so for me, that kind of deciphered whether I'd open up or how much. And I had always been navigating it, and, going back and checking every now and again. But so I was like, oh my gosh, I need to inquire about this. How do I get this? And then I came across it's about Tabula Rasa retreat in Portugal. And I reached out to them, and after much research within what they did there, and then I learned that it was like 14,000 euro, which I didn't have the money, much less anyone or credit to be able to get that kind of treatment.
Wait, for like the
For the
entire
TB thing.
like
Yeah.
retreat thing?
Yeah. And they didn't do any kind of payment plan. So it was just kind of, all right, just back to the hustle of what I'm trying to get to, and, any way that I can. And always having that in the background. And then a year later, I was in Mississippi, and I was again at a very suicidal state. And I did try again, but I know now, and it's like when people go and say, "Oh yeah, you tried, you tried, you didn't really want to." No, I don't, because I didn't want to kill myself. I didn't want to be drowning in my mind, and the only way was to take my life. Period. There wasn't anything to stop it, and no one could actually identify what it was.
What do you think?
What do you mean?
What do you think it was?
Well, it's depression, but it's no, there's no,
Like
there's not
uncontrollable?
one. No, like there's no test to determine the level. We have stage 4 cancer. Well, I call it stage 4 depression. You've tried the things, you've been going through it for years, you've had many attempts, you've thought about it. It's like that's the end. And
yeah, there really is no there's no like solid test, because even me, when I was in the Navy for 8 years, and I had periods of severe depression after it was just like after infidelity and like breaking up with my ex, and just like insecure about myself and life. And yeah, you just talk to a therapist and a doctor, and they say like they like have these like check mark boxes where it's like, oh, are you feeling this? It's like, oh, you're depressed. But there really is no levels to it, because I feel like for me now, I sometimes get depressed, but I now have this belief in my head that this is just a temporary feeling of depression. And I know my baseline is well, now I believe my baseline is abundance, and I can do whatever I put my mind to. But I'm still human, and I still get these thoughts of like what am I really doing right now with my life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like this drowning feeling in your mind, like it's just this weight, and no matter how I articulated it in various forms, and I do plan to share it, because I think it's going to help a lot of people understand depression on a way different level. But at the same time, it's still not going to be understood. Just like if someone punched you in the eye, there is absolutely no way to really, for me to actually understand exactly the pain that you feel.
Yeah.
And that's where depression, it's like, you cannot say that.
It's different for everybody.
Is going to work. You cannot say that it is a mindset, it is anything. You cannot tell anyone how they feel. That applies to everything else. Why does it apply or not apply to the mind? And I spent so long, like, just don't think positive. Just, you don't think I'm not, like, you think I want to be in this misery. You think and it just boiled me. And so, yeah. So, yeah. Anywho, there's so much to it.
Yeah. I've always wondered, like the first thing that comes to my mind people who have committed suicide are the famous people, you know, like Kurt Cobain, um, Robin Williams, the Linkin Park singer.
Not, I don't know, celebrities and things, but I do know
Huh?
names. I do know the names that you're speaking of. I'm just not like super
Well,
up to date.
they all
Yeah.
committed suicide, and it's like when people see on the outside, it's like they're successful. They should,
Mhm.
you know, you should be happy. You're successful,
Yeah.
but that's not. They're not. You know.
Yeah. That's not. Yeah. Yeah. And the real stinger for me is suicide is selfish. I think it is the most, especially if you thought about it or had attempts and you didn't succeed. It's really not from a failure. You did it on purpose. And truly. And while there were times that I was like, how did I not die? Like, that's just not possible. Then it's like, Samantha, yeah, like I knew now. I knew, past the point that moment, one of the last times happened. It's like, well, okay, I knew I could have. But aside from that, it's that if I, like for me, I got told that by someone who, well, by many people, but someone that was so close to me, like family, like a cousin, like a sister, who I looked up to. She's a little bit older, but we really did not think on anything mental health. And she had said that to me, selfish. And what about your children? And da da da. And I'm not angry at her. I just want to so badly help give her a different perspective that I wasn't at the time able to have that conversation because of I was fragile and she was just not able or willing to receive.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of times. Can you elaborate on that? Yeah.
So, if I was selfish, then I would have succeeded when I was in grade 7, when I had my first suicide attempt that nobody even knew about until later in life. And the times after, it was always silent. It was never a big public announcement. It was in such a way that just one single person would have to find me. And it wouldn't disrupt a whole family. I think so deep that I can't. This isn't me grandiose. It's like I physically cannot jump off of a bridge because now I'm causing trauma onto all of the kids in the cars, all of the people driving. Now their days are ruined. Now they've missed their job because, they're stuck in traffic. Now they've missed this one opportunity to be a, football star because this person that ripples. And while this is where I'm a walking contradiction, is at the same time, that was supposed to happen because they weren't supposed to do that. I think that way too. But it's like, I'm not like holding on for this long after feeling that weight is like, that's not selfish. And I think it's selfish to guilt someone into staying alive when they're at that level. It's like, it's as though you're keeping a family member on life support that is a complete vegetable. Is this at any enjoyment to them? What quality of life do they have? But you get to just come and visit and look at them every now and again, makes you feel good. That's exactly the equivalent for me when I was at stage 4 depression. And I was there just so everyone else could be happy. Meanwhile, I was homeless. I I was drowning my mind. Waking up was torture. Waking up, the very first thing, and I have someone that can vouch for me. Every single morning I woke up, the first thing in my mouth was fuck. And it was fuck, I'm still alive. Every morning I go to bed like, please, baby Jesus, don't let me wake up. So that I just don't have to like be the one to do it. Because yeah, I always thought about everyone else, but what good am I here? Just depleting, just fading and fading. Like what quality of life? Like that's selfish. That's gross to me. It's gross to me. And I want to change that mentality because that alone, that's almost like saying to someone, I dare ya. They were like, fuck it, all right, off I go. Don't do that. You can't play that game. And if they, like there's people don't look deep enough. They just look right there. Oh, they're being rude to you. Okay, well, just maybe be a little bit more nicer. Maybe they just need a little extra love right now. And because you're holding space a little extra when they should be getting, the backlash, but they're seeing like, okay, maybe that's all they needed. Just someone to give just a little minute more and not just like deflects it. But everybody just jumps right on the horn. And that's not, that's society that's bred us to be like that. But just like pause, feel, look like that person that gave you a dirty look. Hey, smile at them. Maybe their husband just cheated on them and they're all pissy. Smile at them. Give them like a, hey girl, looking good. If you mean it, of course. But like, why are we so afraid to just be kind? Holy crap, man, it goes so
I'm not
far.
afraid.
Magic. I know, but so many are. And when you are, it's also like a red flag. And it's like, oh, excuse me for like letting whew, I just came from the chicken farm and it was the blast, but I don't smell so great. People are like, whoa. And it's like, I'm being like respectful. I'm making light of it. I know I smell. You can laugh. We can all laugh about it. Like, just be raw, be real. It's fine. Like, it's fine.
So
Coming from the girl that would wake up before my partner of 3 years to put my makeup on to hide my blemishes. Nuts from, growing up being told to hide the blemishes. So it's like all so much interconnects and we don't know unless we talk about it.
So what do you think it was that was making you feel deeply depressed and not wanting to be here anymore?
Cool. So until I had the memories basically just go from blurry to HD. I didn't know. Nobody knew. Like, nobody knew. When in actual fact, the whole class knew. And they were also a part of the reward and the secret. But I was difficult. I was not trying hard enough. I was disruptive, challenging. I just thought I was like messed up. But like I have like what's wrong with me? I did everything like regular. Like, no, I didn't do anything too much excess, even though like I did looking back, but I just still didn't know. I knew of one. I started in like a different kind of when I was in grade 9 therapy for depression again. I was cutting my wrist again. I started that in grade 5 and didn't even know why or what I was doing. But it was then that I now it's my train of thought. I just thought it was because of an abuse that happened that was only in my mind. Like I went about my life until my 30s, only recalling from my childhood, sorry, pre-16, only recalling an episode or a situation that happened when I was 7 at a sleepover. So it was the only situation before 16 that wasn't within my family or family circle. And it was a one-off. I thought, like, I just alluded it to being that when I was in grade 9 and I started therapy and started talking about that again as like an older kid. I was in the group therapy for 3 years when that came to light, at like age 8, 9. And yeah, that was the start of it. And this is stuff I haven't really spoke of, and I haven't spoke of.
You don't have to.
No, this is what I'm about. It's okay. Just bear with me. Yeah, I didn't really know why I was so depressed until I understood everything, even weird things. Like in 2023, like after my healing journey began, I was in an art therapy group, which I got kicked out of, and I would like to talk about that one day. So let's put that in our back pocket. It needs to be addressed. It was so useless for me and so enlightening. Like after each class once a week, that's when I had all the downloads, because I would just sit there quietly, like engage when I needed to, engage where like that felt good. But everyone else was primarily just chatting amongst themselves, and I just observed and listened. And then later I would take things in. So it was October 10th, 2023. I was sitting at home and it just clicked. And it was after an art therapy group, a couple of hours after. And something confirmed from something that I thought, but I wasn't sure about why I had issues touching bare hand, the sinks or bathtubs. I couldn't put my hands in water, even if it was clean. If it was a brand new sink, brand new tub, couldn't do it. It just, with my children, I had designated tongs to pull the bathtub plug for baths. Like it was not happening. I didn't know why. I have no idea why. That's where my abuse started, was the bath. And with objects. So so it's like, so
it started to click.
Yes. And once I did, man, this girl, I went in the bathtub, pulled my hair, my clog of hair up, and everything was gravy. And I was so proud. I have a picture of it. I had it marked on my board above my desk. Like, I was so happy. And so when people say not getting to the root or when people say getting to the root is dangerous, and yes, it definitely can. If you are doing it blind, if you're doing it alone, you can't do a mushroom ceremony. You can't, in my mind, you should not do mushrooms because it's so powerful alone or with a friend who is also doing it. It's just, and
yeah,
it's like,
I've done it before.
They cry and they laugh and they think, oh, I had such a bad trip. It's like, no, you were being shown so much and you just laughed about it and you squandered it. Like you were making a joke of it. Like you're missing everything. There was so much.
The first time I did mushrooms, I was, I shouldn't even be saying this. I was still in the military on leave. And, I think it was the weekend actually. And I couldn't go to sleep. I spent like hours just staring at myself in the mirror. Just like, because when you're on shrooms, like everything kind of looks like it's moving a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was just like staring at my big old black, like my whole eyes were just black, dilated.
Oh, I did look like that after 7 grams of meth.
Yeah, and I was just staring at myself. I'm like, how is the mirror like moving? Like, this is impossible.
You're funny. Yeah. It's powerful.
But yeah, just tell me, what do you think it was about like the whole plant medicine and like
Oh,
how did you finally get to do it? Because you were saying
oh,
like it was hard to get, it was cost $14,000 and then a year later
euro, 40,000
you
euro. So many
that's like
Canadian.
what is that?
20
That's like
20,000 or something or more.
uh yeah, so it's like $20,000 US
Yeah.
dollars, 14,000 euro. Um so yeah,
Uh,
finish that part.
yeah. So prior to trying, prior to another suicide attempt in Mississippi, um, I I had, like, I don't know how long, but within days, I reached out again to Tabula Rasa. So now it's been a year. And I'm like, hey, you guys have a payment plan yet? No, they didn't. So I said to the lady, like the intake person, like, okay, well, thanks anyways. Keep me on,
Mhm.
in your pocket. And but what? So then I tried to take my life. Half an hour, or I tried to take my life. Half an hour after, I get a message saying from the co-founder saying, "Hi, Samantha. I'm sorry, I'm running a little late. I want to call you soon." I'm like, "Oh no."
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, "Oh yeah, they got a payment plan now, or yeah, they're gonna just let me do it." I had no idea, but turns out there was just the woman didn't send the message, so he
Mhm.
was still planning to call, not knowing that I had opted out because I couldn't afford it.
Mhm.
So he had called. So once that happened, it was like a what the heck? Like I could have, and I could have, had a great, beautiful life. And and then we had spoken for like 2 hours on the phone. I think it was so beautiful. He
Mhm.
was like, "Do you have time to talk?" And he's like, "Let me hear your story." So I told him my story, and he was like, "Okay, well, Samantha, like, how about if I talk to my team, maybe, and we give you the treatment in exchange that we do a documentary on your story." I was like, well, holy shit. I had started a documentary anyways. Like I had the framework and the things like that, but it wasn't going to get anywhere. I had too many other projects. So I was like, this is perfect. Like, yeah, perfect. Sure, you can have my story. I would love to share it anyway, that could be
Yeah.
helpful. And so then it began. I left Mississippi, we came back to Ottawa, Canada, and then they hired someone to do some filming. And then I went to Portugal, and I was there for, I don't know, just over 2 weeks in January.
That's
January
amazing.
9th, 2022, or January 24th, January 9th, 2024. I it was the first day of the rest of my life. And that date is so wild for me
That
too.
was only a
Like,
year ago, huh? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And oh, that. So ibogaine, ayahuasca, bufo, cambo, and mushrooms. Those are the ones that we did. So the first
Dang, that's
few
like the
days,
whole
oh, it was that.
whole
So the
thing.
first 2 days was ibogaine, and they called that a flood dose. And so it wasn't IV or anything. It was just the dosage in a capsule kept growing, growing. It's all plant medicine. It's all,
Mhm.
I don't know the exact lingo.
What is the
Uh,
place called again?
Tabula Rasa retreat.
Tabu Rasa?
Um, yeah, yeah, do that. Rasa retreat. Um, yeah, and then that we had to, there's a whole pre going there, and hoopla. So we need to prepare, which I am, and the team and everyone in Portugal and everyone that I talk with in Sweden, all, on board that the pre um, journey, plant medicine journey is so vital. You need to have your intention set. You need to
Mhm.
be ready for what you could embark on. Um, I certainly believe that it's dangerous. Um, if you don't have that.
without
And
guidance.
yeah, because that could shock your whole system. You know, I had new things,
Freak
but
out or
I
something.
was still missing. So like, you know, who were those feet attached to? I began
Mm.
like I'm standing in the doorway as me today, watching horrific things, clear as day, like right here as you and I are talking right now, and I could just be like, oh, okay, no, age 9, whoa, no, that's too dark, and then I could backtrack and I could stop it, and I could. It was incredible, and while it was terrifying, it was so freeing. Like I felt lighter. Like
It's like a flashback kind
seriously,
of.
it was every single thing for me that I had missing a piece. Like a pair, literally,
Mm.
there was 3 pairs of shoes. You know, I'm in a dog kennel, 10 years old, 3 pairs of shoes. I can identify 2 of the feet, the men attached, but not the one. I saw that whole scene. I saw that whole entire scene from end to end. And it was freeing. That's what Ibogaine did for me. It showed all of my traumas that weren't entirely clear, and it was not
Mm.
any made up thing. I had 99 pieces of the 100 puzzle, you know. Um, and I woke up to that the noise, the drowning, the constant chatter in my mind. And the
Mm.
second day, so after that, I woke up, I sat up from bed, and I remember I looked around like, I don't hear anything. The only thing I could hear are the sounds that were physically happening around me.
Mm.
And the only time I could hear me was when I spoke out loud. I like sat with that silence like I just won the freaking lottery. I screamed out, I'm free all freaking day long. And then when I did Bufo, that was a whole other screaming of being free when I basically died and came
Mm.
back to life. Like that was unbelievable. And I was not going to leave Portugal alive if I did not have the experience that I had with every bit of those plant medicines. They all had such a significant role in my healing. Ibogaine showed me the things that were missing. Everything I needed to. It was like a stern grandfather.
So
Ayahuasca,
it started
Ibogaine.
with Ibogaine,
Yeah.
and then what was next?
And the next was ayahuasca. And we did
Ayahuasca.
2 rounds of that, 2 sessions of that. It was like warm swamp mud slushy to me. Um, but so that for me, that one, I say that was like a gentle grandmother, um, or stern grandmother. I have different variations these days. I've kind of changed their role, but she showed me exactly what I needed and what happened for me. I threw up quite a bit, but when the shaman, him and his girlfriend were beautiful people. Um, uh, Axis and Kiara are their names. He had seen a deer in me, a frog in me, and a snake. And now, just in this last week, these things mean a lot to me, which I'm not going to disclose right now. But it's beautiful. And that night during the first ayahuasca session, when I was growing up, I watched like a spirit figure of myself in 4-year-old me, 3-year-old me in my nightgown with a little hush puppy dog on the front, and like flying out of me, a white spirit like flying out of me. And then 7 dark shadows flying out of me. And those were my number of abusers before the age of 16 within my family
Mm-hmm.
and circle. That was like they were leaving my body.
Mm-hmm.
I came from that, like the toxins were just expelled out of me. It was oh my gosh, like I felt like a choke on my, my throat chakra just,
Yeah.
just come. It was unreal, just unreal. And in more each day, like all of that comes more understanding and clarity. It's just a never ending once you're with medicine like that, with in such a spiritual way. And yeah, and then we did bufo, or sorry, cambo, and that was the toad venom poison, whatever you want to say. There's so many different
Like a
variations.
toad or what?
No, so they burned like 5 spots, little dots on my arm, and I opt to do it on my arm because it's close to your heart, which then is more. And I needed all of it in my head. I'm like, give me all, guys. I'll go first. Like that's how I was playing in that group.
Lab rat.
Yeah, like I know where we're working, so let's just let's not skirt around. So they burned the 5 spots, and then they placed the venom on those 5 spots. It was almost instantly I became a frog. Like I was swollen so big, my throat was closing. It was terrifying, but also what that felt. So that was, I had no psychological anything. What the only thing for me, and it was so incredible and also vital to this whole experience, it pushed out toxins in a different way than ayahuasca, like expelled like the bad spirits. And this like expelled the toxins, the poisons that I put in my body, literally. And that's the symbolism for me, is that was expelling all of the toxins that I put in myself, and to heal, to numb, and just energies around me. That was amazing. Although I was still swollen for a few days after. It's quite funny. Yeah. And that went away. It wasn't life threatening. Nobody was panicked. It was peaceful. And then I did bufo, and that was a peaceful, like beautiful ceremony again. It was like outside and the birds. It was actually raining first, and then the shaman, he was chanting and just speaking to the universe and Mother Nature and just existence, and it was beautiful. Like
what is bufo?
I didn't even know at the time what was happening, but what was that?
What is bufo?
Oh, so bufo, 5-MeO DMT.
That's a DMT.
Yeah, but plant based. It's not. Yeah. So that we were standing outside, and it was a like an inhale substance, and the shamans were in front of me, and I was just standing there, and I was breathing it in, and it was let myself die. And we said that 4 times. And then as I was saying that, then I was inhaling to infinity, is how they were saying it. Inhale to infinity, inhale to infinity. So I'm inhaling. And I ended up needing to get 4 doses of it, opposed to the group. And I believe that it's because I wasn't letting myself die, because I had in my thoughts unfinished, which are leading to my
your old self
times now. No, it was like I couldn't let myself die entirely. So I did eventually collapse and my spirit die. But I still know that there are things that I need to do, and I am going back to Portugal at the end of April to do a ceremony with some of the same people from Sweden that they were a
they're
huge
from
part
Sweden?
of my life. Yeah, so a couple, and they also heal through psychedelics, ingress therapy. In Sweden, they flew to Portugal when I went in January last year to work with me. And this woman, Julie, she works a lot with the human design and like things. It's very nice. And it just, so they're going to be there in April. And I feel like that's when I'm going to really solidify my healing in a sense. Because of this past year is just been
Wait, that's
wild.
next month.
Yeah.
It's a couple weeks.
Yes, it's a big transformational time for me right now. So yeah.
That's it.
I don't know what else right now from that. No, I'm all lifted. Yeah. This is nice. Thank you for holding this space for me today.
Thank you for expressing yourself.
It's like I've been a muzzled bird in a straitjacket, and now I am free. Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to express or tell somebody that's listening that maybe is in the beginning of their healing journey?
This hurts me to even hear that. The thought of that person just tears me apart because I know how alone I felt. I know how alone I actually was, despite those who say they were there. I knew that they cared, but no one could really be there the way that some need. And something that this woman, Julie, mentor from Sweden, she said, if it isn't a hell yes, it's a no.
Mm.
And that, I will use that just deciding if I want peanut butter or chili on my bread, it's like, and it's so true.
That's
It's changed my life. Like,
it's a good trick to
if it isn't a hell yes, it's a no. And so how I try to explain this to people is, say I asked you to go to a party tonight, not my life, but you want to come to a party tonight, and you immediately, like, if I ask you anything, you're going to answer immediately. Whether you want to admit it or not, you're going to answer consciously, subconsciously. And then whether you tell me what that was, if you even had an answer, or if it was a truthful answer that came to your head, that's a whole other story. So what happens when we hesitate even a little bit, like you're like, oh, maybe you said that out loud, maybe you didn't, but you said yes in the text in your head. So now that's your body saying no. That is your body saying no. And that's your body saying, in a big way that I'm protecting you from what's going to happen. So now look back on any time you've ever hesitated on something that you were asked to do that you didn't really want to, but it wasn't hurting your day. It wasn't, impairing your budget, but you just didn't feel like it. But you went. And if you can look back, I can look back on so many I can't even count. That's the 12 more book series. I can say that, okay, Becky got into a fight that night, or I got a parking ticket, or, I missed this opportunity because I wasn't home and my phone was, something happens, or a lot of some things happen. If I had just stayed home, I'd listen to myself, none of that would have transpired. And so what happens from that even deeper, okay? When you don't listen to your gut, you're also causing a ripple now on everyone else's Google map. So because you ignored your gut, now I got the parking ticket, or maybe my car is impounded, not by anyone's fault. It just happened to be that night, that whatever space. We had to go there because someone had to go pee. Coincidental. Now even deeper, my car is impounded. This person's not there to pick up their child the next day. Now CAS is involved because, and then Child Protective Services here, Children's Aid Society, are involved because they weren't there. And maybe it was their third time. All of these things, and that's only just 2, 3, whatever, little situations turned huge. And all of
Well,
that
yeah,
everything else. You would have just listened to yourself, your true self. Not only would you not have had to listen to this fight, seen an ex you didn't want to see, you spent money you didn't want to spend, whatever the case, you also eliminated the potential for a ricochet effect that did not need to
yeah,
happen or wouldn't have happened otherwise, or could have, but if you were true to yourself, at least, like, and for me, if anything goes wrong in those situations, I can't be upset with any single person except for myself because I ignored my gut. My gut told me, I ignored it. Now I have to sit with whatever is going to come from that. I can't be mad at my friend because they convinced me to go out because I chose to go out. I didn't feel
yeah,
good. Regardless of the case, I walked out of my house. That's beyond me
yeah,
now. I've made that conscious decision that I am ready for what's going to happen. I can only take that. And that's where people they'll go to the friend. You convinced me to come. I didn't want to come. I did not come there and physically drag you out. And people don't go back to that scenario as much as they need to. It is so true. I cannot be mad at you at all because I chose. If you cheat on
hmm
me again, well, I chose to stay with you. I can't
hmm
be mad at you. You did something that, if I chose to, so, and that's where they're not taking accountability entirely. Go entirely.
yeah.
You stayed, you know, and even, I don't even anything. You were in a relationship. That's a
I think
chance
that's the
to
most
take. I don't
common.
know.
I think
Like,
that's the most common example is
yeah.
like people will ignore red flags, they don't
Like red
follow.
flags, even I'm like on red flags. I'm a white flag and not in like a surrender and like I'm just here. Like, if you're gonna put me in a flag, then let's just have a drink and hang out on a drink. But like, let's just
Yeah.
hang out. It's not gonna go beyond this one singular
Well, a red
conversation.
flag, for example, could be that like you get this feeling that you're not really feeling it with the person,
Oh,
and
okay. But
then but
then,
you go about it anyways.
yeah,
That's what I mean.
yeah. Okay, yeah, okay. So then, okay, maybe it's just the labeling, which I can't. Ooh, it just
Yeah, I mean
um,
labels I
you
heard
gotta name it
somebody
to tame
say.
it. It's good,
Well, I
but
heard I heard somebody say labels are always one removed from the source.
it's just, yeah. It's look at me. Someone, oh, are you gay? Are you? I'm regular. I'm just regular. I love
I'm just
people.
a
Like, and
human.
yeah. Why?
I'm just
Like, why?
human.
Like, really? Oh, like, just to be challenging. I do that just because it's like, why does that matter? Ugh, well, who cares? Like
Well,
that's
another
where
big one is
everything's too
religion.
complicated. Yeah, like whatever.
Religion.
I love that all the things. Oh,
What's your
you're this.
religion?
Well, I'm just talking like this because I love it. It's nice. I'm just sharing it. Why can't I? Oh, you're this.
Yeah.
Well, that's too say.
Well,
I just
I
whatever
don't
feels
like
good.
labels either, really.
No, it's just really like to the degree of like fact checking. Like, holy Karen, easy.
Or a degree of prejudging based on your
Yeah,
label. It's like,
yeah,
oh, you're
yeah.
Christian. Oh, so you believe in a. I've seen this a lot on threads. Uh, so many arrogant atheists will be like, I don't believe in your imaginary man in the sky.
Yeah,
And I always just say, what are humans without imagination?
it's oh, I this was open and teach you guys about. Okay, this is when I need a friend real close. It's like,
We don't
no
have to
way.
go there.
It's okay, no, because this is what I'm about, the raw and like I'll take
Okay.
one for the team and just say all the things. I'm good for that. Okay, the Earth is not flat, nor is it round. In a
The
sense, okay,
flutter.
hear me out. We're not going to talk about that one because that one is whatever. I also don't even care enough to argue. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Shirts around. I'm just like,
No, I
but I
get
will
that.
say that if you can't prove that, if you haven't, no, it's just,
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
it does like one. What does that change for your life today, tomorrow, or yesterday? None of
Mhm.
them. And then it's like, if me physically have not gone in an airplane, around and like looked at like, okay, we're crossing over New York. Yep, that's the Empire. Okay, there's Italy. Okay, like if I haven't done that myself and went physically around the globe, because we got enough gas to go to Thailand, so why, that's 1 more hour around the whole. Should be 24 hour. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I don't even know. It doesn't matter until I physically do that. I will not change my thought. But that's just
Mhm.
my thought. I I am open to hearing all of it, and I think it's cool. Tell me all about it. I'll change my tune right now if you can prove it. But if you're just giving me a paper that this person declared in this time because they did this check, no, I'm sorry, but that's not enough for me. I need to be there looking over his shoulder. Like,
Mhm.
or it's not. It didn't for me. Um, what are we talking about? So then she goes off, right? Yeah, this
Nah,
is
I
why I
get
like
like
my
that too
friendship with Cole.
sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
You do what?
Um,
You do the tangents? Or
no,
no?
yeah, I lose my train of thought more often than
Oh,
I
those.
would
Yeah,
like to admit. Um,
it's okay though. It's just, well, it could be learned. You looked at something moved outside, or you thought of something deeper and you wanted to recook.
yeah,
Tomato, potato.
potato, potato.
It started out as an accident, and then it came out all the time after. I screw up all the analogy.
Um, so for somebody who feels trapped, or for somebody who doesn't feel like the current health system is working, what do you wish they knew about real healing?
I think that if if you have this struggle, anything that's not okay, if you have depression, anxiety, need these this realm here, and you can't decipher where it came from, I encourage plant medicine if it's disrupting your life. If you've tried it, I encourage to try all the conventional ways first within your means. Don't go in debt. It's not worth it. Sorry,
Yeah,
it's not. Um,
especially in
I don't
America.
think anyone should spend any money, to be honest. I want to be a doctor to save lives, but not to like. Sorry, missing the link here. But no, I know we all need to make money. La la. La, that's a whole other thing.
But
That's for my own
well,
podcast.
that's
But
well, that's just the incentive, you know. That's the
yeah,
incentive. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. So, I think that yeah, plant medicine is where it helps you get to the root um when like guided properly. Sorry, not
Hmm.
guided
Hmm.
properly. And where you're ready too. When you're at a stage that you're ready, and there's not any one specific stage to when you're ready for that point. But so surely, if you're hanging on by a thread and you think of suicide, 10 times a day, that's there's your sign.
Hmm.
That this is you've tried it. And then medicine, like after I did plant medicine, I don't even think of depression. Like there are times that I
Mm,
feel the weight, like I could feel a doom cloud, I would call them, but it
yeah.
never took over me. And
Yeah.
it's like things that all of these mental health advocates are talking about and advice and tips, they are amazing.
Mm,
But if only you're in a certain phase of your journey, your healing journey. And like I could
mm.
elaborate, like I could
That's like
kind
the
of break it
disclaimer.
down. Yeah, like I could break it down, but like these things I know could help me or could have helped me right after I did the plant medicine when I was still with the medicine. Like it stays in your liver for 6 months, up to 6 months, the ibogaine. That would those some of these things did and would help me deeper, but they wouldn't have helped me even a little bit. I wouldn't even have entertained it, knowing
Like,
me. And that's
yeah.
something I will argue all day. Like I know me. I'm confident in my body and what I need
Mm,
and what it, you know. And so I know that those things would not have done, they would have just spiraled me. They would have just made me more frustrated or just simply not worked and just wasted the energy that I had to, focus in places that were actually helping me. And so that's
mm,
where it's like there's that block, because if there was that mix, that good mix,
mm,
and even like I would love someone to invest in an experiment, or we'll say that the risk is so low, to be honest.
what
10
is it?
people that have 10 people that have experienced trauma and variations, they a family with addiction to physical abuse to emotional abuse, sexual abuse, all
PTSD.
different walks, okay, all different types of traumas, and then people with combined traumas, like multiple different types of traumas in one household and within an upbringing. Um, having like sexual abuse in your life and also family with addiction, parents with
Yeah.
addiction, who have spent years with trying medicine like antidepressants, anti-anxiety, um, and done all kinds of different therapies and group work, and still want to or still feel that they need to take their life as the only way to stop the pain in their mind. Okay, so take them, but also only take these 10 individuals that are currently on government assistance. Okay. They, so someone, so they've been on the system, making government assistance because they
Hmm.
can't maintain a job. We'll say that's the reason, if it's not disability. They can't maintain a job, they can't find a job, whichever the case, it all goes back to their mind. Okay. And then if you look deeper, did they grow up in that as well? So is this now like generational too? Okay. So the the government is going to spend, so much a year providing their medications if they're on antidepressants, all those things, providing their, like the gear income housing, bus passes, whatever they're paying for that person. Or just to see, because I'm confident if you take those people, invest the money one time in plant medicine, like that 2-week journey that I had, and see, I bet you that those people, at least 9 out of 10, come back now with the ability to go back to school, keep the job, get the job, no longer need assistance. Now, when they have children, their children are not going to be growing up in low income housing. Their parents are going to be more healed, significantly healed. They're not going to be passing on trauma. That's ripples. That's going to significantly change so many. If that could happen, that's 14,000 euro one time, or spend 60,000 a year every year, keeping them in that same cycle. I truly believe that if I had this
I mean,
plant
that's kind
medicine
of what I
experience,
want to do with,
that's exactly what I'm
that's what I want
going
to
for.
do with, because I already have like a vision for like the type of clinic I want to open.
Yeah, I think so much. Yeah.
What?
I, I just think it doesn't even need to be as like we have the food in abundance.
But there's nothing
We
like it
have,
in the U.S. You have to like go travel or do
but
something.
you're right. I'm talking something a little bit more less conventional. All the homeless people, all the people that are starving globally. We literally have the food.
Or you ever work in
We
fast food?
actually have it. No, we have the food to give.
Oh yeah.
It's a choice. I'm serious. That's how deep like I'm going here. It is here. And anyone on a podcast talking about it and any like, oh, I feel so bad. You are not going to be worried your mortgage payment by donating $100,000 right now without even thinking about it. Right now, I could name off so many without even knowing their finances. And if they're in heat with their finances, that's even more because all that money for what? Humanity. Like, even if just because you worked for it, yeah, okay. But like, do you need $5 billion for entertaining me on my couch today, picking your nose, making funny jokes? I don't know. Really? Because all of the people that have the money and the resources and the voices, the platform, they only have that truly. And I don't mean this in any rude way. They only have that because of the people like you and I. Let me not speak for you, who can barely afford their phone bill. Do you know what I mean? Liking, subscribing, sharing. Okay. So do something because
Mm.
if you get if like, yeah, even getting a tax return or like a tax return from the donation you made, that's just as good as you need a plaque on a park bench somewhere that did not need it. Take that plaque even and invest it directly back into the whole big picture. That stuff's gross to me. Have high school students, they need volunteer hours. Have them make signs at a freaking Bristol board and markers. Have them, they're working on digital photography, marketing. Have them do the social media in their volunteer time. Why not? We spend 20,000 on signs for Bell Let's Talk every year. I don't even know. I'm just pulling numbers. Any number is more than a Staples run in every community or something. I don't know. Yeah, this is wild, but it's simple. It's actually a lot easier. And instead of all that money wasted, like that never actually gets to where it needs to go. If you want to actually donate and you actually want to help out of the bottom of your heart, take that 20 grand you were just going to donate to Red Cross and go put it out in hundreds and go walk your community, man, without an
Yeah, I
entourage,
agree with that.
without the
Yeah.
paparazzi following you. Go do good because you fucking can.
Yeah.
Humanity. And the first person that wants to accept my little fun experiment that's just going to help so many, like I've said this and it sounds silly,
Well,
but
I
it's
want to do
just,
it.
okay. I would forfeit any future earnings
I want
to
to do it.
have the roundtable conversation, do this experiment just to show, hey guys,
But you have
invest
to be a doctor
14,000
though to
now,
do that.
or no, I'm not going to do that. Invest 14,000 now
Or just
and
like case
potentially change
studies,
this
huh?
person's life forever. No. Like, what do you mean?
To do like an actual like research study, you have
Okay,
to
so there's
be a
not even
doctor.
no, stop that. Says someone at one point. That's what they said. So we're just following rules that
So
someone said
case
one
studies
time.
then.
No, forget it. Someone's got 100 grand, someone's got 200 grand, and they're just sitting on it, looking at it, and in their
Yeah, like a testimonial study.
so then 10 people who
Yeah.
let's say I know 5 people and you know 5 people who could severely or who have been severely struggling and could use this opportunity to maybe have a chance to live and not just survive. Okay. We have the money that could send them to the same place I went, just say, okay, that are struggling in the system on a roundabout without a note, um, and show and document it, show
Mhm.
how this 1-2 week experience could now save the government from funding their entire rest of their life. And then once they have kids, that money is only going to triple that they're going to have to give to this person, or
It'd
just
have to be
invest it
bigger than
right now
that,
to
though.
save their life. I know, but do you know what I'm saying?
I'm just
Like,
saying to do an actual, like, legitimate research study, you have to work for.
what are you researching? What do you need a team of tubes and technology for? I'm not being facetious. I'm honestly, what's this
No, to,
research?
like, to
What does
really
it mean?
fix, like, the root cause of the government. Um, I completely agree with your, type of study. I'm just saying there's a difference between, like, doing that legitimately with, like, a published study and, like, here's the evidence, here's the study, here's whatever the outcome, versus, uh, doing, like, what you suggest, like, just somebody donating and having, like, a documentary style, anecdotal testimonies. There's a difference between those 2. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because that's just what we've always done, right? That way, proper and, you know,
I mean, we could
uh,
do both.
we could, yeah, we totally could. But here's the thing: how long will that take? Even if you had all the money right now today, someone gave you the money and the lab, you need a lab, okay? Someone gave you the money right today. No, someone gave you the money today. How long is that going to take you to help anybody, to get to the point of ever helping anybody? How long is it going to take you, roughly?
I don't know.
Mm. And then, how many people died from suicide each year? Mhm. So, or if I had 100,000 right now, I could at least take 10 people. No, at least take 5 people. Sorry. I could take 5 people that I know who aren't working, who are on assistance, who been nothing but struggling. They want to kill themselves. I lost 2 friends before Christmas. I could take 5 with 100 grand right now, tomorrow, even have it set up that they could go to Portugal where I went. And I guarantee you, I would put my life on it. Who would I so badly love? I look triple time as both ways. Now I want to live so much. I know in my whole heart that would save 5 lives. By the end of April, we have 5 lives that are saved. Or we could wait until whenever that research happens.
No, I see your point. I'm
It's
just
just
saying,
this is a fact thing that can happen right now.
no,
But
we
we
could
got to
do
skirt
we could do that
around.
at
We
the
got
same
this,
time.
get this legislation and get this, or the money that's going to spend doing all that can just directly help people. Oh, there's people starving in here. Give it to them. All that money that you're going to give it to them, because we know we don't need to do research. Just act. Just
No,
do
I
it.
know that. I'm saying
I see what you're saying, but
I'm like a
we've done so much. Let's
governmental,
wait later.
no, I'm saying we could do both at the same time, but
Yeah,
to really fix the system, the government won't just rely on, like, oh, you helped people out. They
for
want to
sure.
see, like, why should we fix the system? Oh, some anecdotal case studies, like, we see it's helping people, but for the root system to be changed,
Hmm.
they want evidence.
Yeah. So, and then here's another little plot twist. I'm coming to disrupt the whole system. So these things, like, why do we need a whole committee donate some food? Because I don't care if you've handled it. I don't care if you didn't wash your hands. If I'm starving, I'm gonna take the food straight out of your hand. And a lot of people would. It's
Barbarian.
like you're going through, you're putting all of these, rules and we got to go through this protocol and this da 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 da. And we're out of masks, so soup kitchen's closed. No,
Yeah.
Sally, put your friggin' apron on and serve the damn soup because we don't care. And that's where everything's getting lost. All of these little loops, all of these, it's just like, stop,
Uh,
stop, stop. The food is there. The people are literally directly outside of it. Give it to them. Who cares where it comes from? Who's got to pay? Da 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 da. It's a write off. That's because it's a write off. Why? Because it's like money doesn't exist. Money doesn't physically make the shoes. It makes the person, but physically money does not do shit. So why is it controlling so much? The workers. Why? All in this mentality that because this is just this, that's just what we've been doing forever. So change it, because that's why nothing changes, because nothing is changing. We're sticking to the same script where the
America's
same
changing.
people are all in the same. Well, yeah, things are definitely
There's
happening.
so many
So many
there's so
things.
many um committees, like just like you were saying, and regulators, government regulation
All that
committees. They're getting
hogwash.
rid of a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to get rid of all of them too, if I have anything to do with it, which I'm like, not. Global movement here. I'm not kidding. It's just too simple. But it stings a lot of egos and it disrupts a lot of cushy lifestyles.
Corruption, yeah.
So it's gonna be a beautiful place really soon.
What does Samantha Hughes, what's your vision of a truly healed societal system?
Listening to understand. Things not getting lost because of money. Money is not a thing. Money is not it's like we all get a cap. It's fame comes with the responsibility. Seeing how the fame only became because of the struggling and the ones still unnamed, right? War. Why? Okay. You don't like this system and you don't like this system. All right, Tommy and Bobby, go duke it out back. Like, none of this stuff. You're just causing more mayhem, more money to be spent. Now we're blowing shit up. We're just forgetting everything we were taught as kids. Probably the only things that were good. Sticks and stones may break my bones. Now names will get you thrown into HR and fired because you didn't use he, she, they right. Now you're gonna blow each other up, and the whole entire fucking province, the whole entire country, the whole whatever. Because what? What even? What? How does that justify anything? That is the most illogical shit I've ever heard. And we're still conforming to this. We're still listening to people deciding to go duke it out, but where everyone's affected. Would you tolerate people fighting in your front yard if they're trampling all over all of your artwork and all these things that you've paid so much money for and you're so proud of? No, you'd be on their case like nothing. But we can just terrorize a whole damn town, a whole village, a whole everywhere because oil or money. Like, what? What? You do your shit, I'll do mine. You got oil? Cool. I got chocolate. Cool. Let's do a tradesy. Done. Or okay, now we don't get it. Fuck, I don't know. It's just too much. What do cigarettes do other than be a habit for somebody? What else do they do for our world? What else do they do? Do they give us electricity? Is it bird feed? Is it hamster shavings? Nope. So it's like, okay, and we've addressed that it could cause cancer. We addressed that it causes cancers, but we still make it. So yeah, it's a choice. It's a choice. Don't smoke. Okay,
Yeah.
or we could take it a step deeper and just don't make the thing that serves no other purpose. Take it away. All of us, now we're all going to be moody assholes for the rest of the week because we're all jonesing for a cigarette. But the problem is, it all needs to be taken away. So there's not, back with moonshining and things like that. It's like, just once you get rid of it, nobody wants to smoke again. It doesn't smell good. Nobody wants that. We collectively all stop. We'll stop. And when it's not there available, we're not going to want it. Truly, if you quit smoking and every single one in your circle are also not smoking, no one's going to start back smoking. You know what I mean? And why are we smoking? See, we're still not getting to the root. What are you so nervous about? What do you need to take the edge off for? Let's figure it out. And once you don't have the cigarette and you're figuring it out, and everybody with you is figuring it out, there we go. Magic. You can't lose weight when your partner is smashing freaking McDonald's every day. You can't quit an addiction so easily. Or I mean, you can, sorry, but it's significantly harder when someone around you is too. Like, it's just asinine to me. So it's a choice, but you can't. You put chocolate in front of a kid. It's a choice that they're gonna take it or not, right? You're giving it to them though. So it's like you're giving a kid a choice to hold a knife. Okay. You are presenting the opportunity for that child to do something bad with it, hurt themselves, or not even touch it. It's like that's inhumane and gross to even make them. And I used to smoke. I smoke a vape right now. If they took it away, I'd be like, all right, perfect, finally. And I know why I do it. I just wanted to have it. It's a nervous habit for me. And
I'm the same with
the problems that I could
with weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I quit for like I was a pothead in high school, and then I joined the military. I couldn't smoke at all for 8.5 years. And then as soon as I got out, I smoked again for a couple months, and I stopped for like 2 years, and then I started again. And it's like for weed.
How do you feel about it? It's like just fun, or it's just like
sometimes I like to do it before I like work on a podcast, like the back end work, like social media, or just relaxing.
Everything and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. So it's not like you're not consciously checking out or numbing from something specific. You're in encouraging or
it's like a recreational. Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's how I use it now for myself. I make a conscious effort to not smoke it when I'm feeling a certain way. Like, when people are like, because then that's making my mind now seek it when I'm feeling that mood. So I've now
it's like a habit stack. It's like, if I feel this, then I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, and that was a part of my old behavior, was to numb anytime I had a feeling. Now I'm like, no, girl, you have to sit with it. Like, you got to sit with it, and it fucking sucks. And now I'm at a point where I can, if I'm feeling a certain way, and so long as I've addressed it, I acknowledge, I understand what is happening around me and why and how to proceed, then, I'm still okay with that, so long as these things are made the forefront of my mind. Yeah. It's interesting. It's all so interesting.
Samantha, is there anything you'd like to say before my conclusion?
Well, thank you for having me here. This was nice. And I like to speak of things that I hadn't spoken of out loud with stranger before yet. So that was like a moment for me to put on my calendar. And also, just for anyone, like, just be kind. You don't know what's going on, and your kindness, even when they deserve all of it, just give a teeny bit extra, because that kindness can seriously shift a whole domino effect of people that are hurting. Just be kind.
Yeah, something I always say is be the rising tide that lifts all the boats.
Yeah. 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 Like we're all coming. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
me too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not pro any, but like, oh, you're this. I'm like, I don't want them to die either. No, them too. They can stay. All of us are staying.
Yeah, it's these
Yeah.
extremes that tear us apart.
Yeah. And it's all just because they're hurting and they're surrounded by hurting. If you're around, it's not who you hang with, but unfortunately, if the whole group is swearing like sailors, you're gonna swear too. I know this.
Mm,
I and if you're around people that can be vulnerable, then it allows you to be vulnerable too. And so if a mass is angry, everyone follows suit. So it just takes one to change in each group. Just charge for it, megaphone and all. Just go for it. I'll be there too.
All right, Samantha, we're gonna play How Deep Will You Go?
Oh yeah.
3 questions. First one is, what has life taught you recently?
To be patient in a different tone. Um, Basically pausing in my patience. So slowing down my speech, slowing down my pace, walking while I'm trying to practice patience.
I get it. It's kind of like being more present
Yeah.
and aware while you're tested.
Being present and patient with the process. Wow. Yeah.
No, I see that every day. Every day is an opportunity. Every time you're aware enough of how you feel, that's an opportunity to work on something that you want to work on.
Yeah. I find I'm hyper focused a lot on specific things for different times, and I zero in on it because I struggle with focus, and then I forget everything else, and I let other things pass. Now I'm trying to practice that patience with presence.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
My
I feel good from this. Thank you.
next question is, what's something you would be judged for if people knew about it?
Ghosting.
You're a ghoster?
Yeah. I'm a serial ghoster. But not in the general form. Like I even have a tattoo of it.
A serial ghoster?
Yeah. It's that if I don't feel good to respond, like we could be talking a conversation and I just stop because my body is I'm at capacity. I'm not getting that capacity. And then 2 weeks later, spaghetti. Like I'll say what I had to eat. The question you asked me 2 weeks earlier. That's never liked by anybody.
Oh, I actually did that.
Yeah. So I used to
did
be so
that like
bad
a couple weeks ago.
I'm bad for that. And it depends who you're talking to, of course, right? But I mean, it was people that were so close to me. It didn't matter. And for so much, I got the gears because I wouldn't respond quickly or I wouldn't, respond in a way that someone wanted. But I was doing something or my mind was someplace else. And I couldn't give the response that I wanted to, the proper reply and the time that I wanted to give to that person and their message. So I wouldn't say anything at all in some cases. And for me, it was because the time it would take and the energy it would take for me to explain that. And then if they didn't understand, then they come back, then that's a whole conversation that just depleted me deeper. And I was already with zero gas. So it's selfish, but it's that I'm thinking about them, that I'm too spent to be able to give the time that I want to them. And so then I
Yeah,
changed that tune, and I found a way to communicate this with anybody that came into my life. Like, look, I struggle. I sometimes I go in phases where something heavy hits me. I'm in my healing journey of, reflection and
I'm the
introspection.
same.
And
Yeah.
yeah, something could come and I'm ready to go and now everything's grand, and then boom, and I have to sit with it, and I
Mm,
cannot, and I refuse to put my things aside just to make, appease someone else's comfort. And they
yeah.
have then they basically signed the contract. I gave a full disclosure. This is how I operate. I'm not trying to. I'm mindful of it. I'm aware, I care about your feeling. That these will come up and I will come back, and I always do. But if you guilted me or, giving me the gears or passive aggressive, I don't, I shamelessly can just chameleon the part, because
I
it's
just need
not,
time to clarify my thoughts a lot of the time and
and you
clarify
don't
my
have to
feelings. Yeah.
explain it ever. It doesn't matter who it is. You don't have to explain it. And there's a way you can not explain it without being dismissive or rude or,
Or
just
ghosting.
disregarding
No,
their feelings. But in the ghosting, like that's like I don't care, because I'm just like, I'll embrace it. Yeah. I didn't feel like responding to you, and I don't owe you a damn explanation about anything.
yeah.
Period. And you can take that how you want. And the fact that someone like holds me to that just because I met them, a week ago and we had a great talk. Okay.
Mm, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm working on me. And unless you're working on me also, sorry,
Yeah. I
sit
need the
down,
space.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So man up potato, right? Yeah.
uh, next question. What is something you don't tell most people?
Okay. Let me think about what I'm about to disclose that I don't tell most people. um, um, I don't know. It's something that I don't tell most people. Everything. That actually hit me because it's true. There's only ever space for the palatable version, the digestible one, the one that's available when they didn't just come home from work, or it's too early in the morning, or they're hungover, or we'll have to admit their understanding of it. Thanks for that. That invoked a lot of.
Huh?
Can I answer the question?
Nah, that's fine. That's okay. That's fine. Samantha, you ready for my last questions?
Sure. Yeah.
Um, so these are the questions I ask every guest that comes on for the first time. My first question is, what is your biggest regret? Or if you don't have a biggest regret, what is something your future self would regret?
I certainly do not have one single regret, even things that were horrible, things that I'm ashamed of, and because it all happened for a reason. And what I would say to my future self, is that what the question? A future self?
If you don't have a regret, what is something your future self would regret?
Not listening to myself, not listening to my gut, not listening to this mission that I'm on. I will be so upset with I am so mad at her right now, even thinking about it. Like, don't you even dare think about that, Samantha. Like, yeah, but letting others stop me, letting others make me think that I'm not smart enough or I'm crazy or anything. Like, I'm coming for it. Period. That's something. Don't let anyone stop you. Don't stop. Just don't stop. Yeah. I regret stopping. Well, I have so much to write about now. Thank you.
If you had the opportunity to go back in time and tell the little Samantha something, what would you tell her?
Scream. Scream as loud as you fucking can. Someone will hear you. The first time I screamed was my last night in Portugal. The last time I was attacked was April 16th, 2024. And I couldn't scream. Like, I couldn't scream. Okay? It still holds me. I screamed during that treatment. But in the moment, I still didn't scream. I would tell myself to scream. The scream and that more reflection. Do you have this effect? I guess it's talking about it too. I was saying, do you have this effect on people? But I guess it's just the questions that you're posing.
I mean, you can see it. My last podcast on YouTube, or yeah, I think I often do. I get it a lot.
Yeah. Nice.
I appreciate it, honestly. But we can move on. So
yeah.
Next question is, who or what has made the biggest impact in your life?
Not a who, a what. Realizing that only I got me. It was from a mushroom journey as well. When, like, I called everybody that I ever knew, like SOS, all of it. And nobody was there. Like, of all, like, nobody. And then I realized, like, I got me. And that, what was the question?
Just who or what has made the biggest impact in your life?
So it was coming to the realization of, I got me only, and that's not right. We need community. We need, like, why do I only got me?
Yeah.
List of people. There's so many people. Why do I only got me? And like,
Mhm.
I still got me in the sense, like, I'm in control of me and myself. But it was that, oh my God, I need to, like, I need this to not
Like,
be the case. I need to
yeah, like somebody to lean
drive
on
everybody,
sometimes.
like
Yeah.
we need, like I had people, but it wasn't in the sense, like, it wasn't like a whole community in
Mm,
the same mind frame, you know, like
mhm,
we all know that stage 4 is this, but
mhm,
we don't all know that this is this for
mhm.
mental health and depression. And so that's what I mean, like a collective agreement. And that's when I knew, like, okay, I can't sit for this anymore. I can't be quiet. I have to address this stuff. I have to bring it out.
Yeah, and it's
Kind of
hard when you're not surrounded with the same, type of people with your beliefs, you know?
no,
Yeah.
no, it can be crippling, you know? And um, yeah, yeah, we've covered so much ground. We need like a sequel here.
Well,
So
I got 3 more questions,
I thought there was only 3 to begin with.
nah.
Please?
I got 3 more questions, and then that's a wrap, and you can come on again if you want for part 2. Um, but yeah, next question is, what is one lesson that you had to learn the hard way?
So many. Um, just every lesson I learned the hard way.
Uh,
So every lesson I also learned 3 times,
mhm,
in the sense it was so I actually wrote, like, I've a theory on this. The 3 exposure rule theory is what I called it. There's other theories to it, but the first, I experienced the thing that taught me the lesson. I experienced the event, the whatever the case. Then that was to experience it, have the feeling of it. The second time, experience the same thing, the same situation. That is for me to identify it in the moment and be able to navigate it. The
mhm,
third is seeing it, navigating it, and being able to remove myself from it. And that's the 3 exposure that it's. And so for me, every lesson I learned was like hard, so hard. I I
yeah.
don't even know how to say. I don't even know just what lesson I learned.
No,
Just
that's a fine
every
answer,
single
yeah.
consequence, like, or every action has a consequence. Like, I think that's
Mhm.
why I get called a prude now, because, and it's
Prude.
like, no, it's just, yeah, prude. Like, I'm a wild card, but I'm a prude in the sense that, like, if you are going to be in my car, you are going to have a seatbelt on. And not because I give a damn if you get the ticket or you get anything with you. It's that I am not running the risk of any kind of, like, disruption in my day if I have the chance to eliminate that. So it's like, if you don't want to be late, why are you going to not wear your seatbelt? Oh, why are you not going to wear a seatbelt that's going to potentially cause you to get pulled over, which could then cause you to be late? And then you got to
Mhm.
worry about, are your stickers up to date? Da 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 da. Like, all of these things. It's like, that's just mindless to
It's
me.
like a
That's just
trickle
mindless.
effect.
So
Yeah.
it's like, it's not a prude. I weigh it out. If it's not enough to get me across the border and stay living cushy and hiding for friggin' the rest of my life, I ain't doing it. You know what I mean? Like, so call it for what you will. Oh, everything with me is never vague. So I should have told you that part.
Okay. My next question is, what would you do, or what would you want to experience in life if you had all the time and money you ever needed?
Watching people eat, live, and snuggle with their families instead of trying to find food for that day. people being home with their families instead of trying to make ends meet, having their children there present. And if that means, all the single people work making the food, I don't know. This is a fun question, right? So that those people can spend that quality time with their children, giving them that care, teaching things that are actually going to be helpful. How to make an email, how to do taxes, how to rearrange CapCut. It's going to be helpful. Or is this be good? Be nice, just be kind, be love. See it. I want to see it. So cool. I'm going to see it, actually. I'm going to see it.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, it's coming so soon. It's going to be so beautiful. It's going to be so beautiful. Did you hear me coming?
Huh?
No, nothing. Did you hear my tummy? I'm like, yeah, it's about 9:00.
Your tummy.
No.
Nah, I usually fast as well before all my podcasts. So like,
before your podcast.
yeah, usually.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, before my podcast, I have this whole like regime that I do, like a workout, cold shower, breath work, meditation, fast.
Beautiful things. Yeah.
But is there anything that you'd like to tell anybody listening right now that you think would resonate with them?
Yeah. If something seems off, even a flicker, or even inkling, do something immediately. Immediately. Even if it makes you look bad, risk it. Hey, 3-year-old me. Yeah, earlier. Risk it. Either way.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you, Karen.